In this video, I'm going to show you how we can set up the Boss RC-500. So one track is a drone and the other track you can use for looping, but it doesn't stop at the 500. Once you've got this process, you can do it with the 600, the 505 Mark II, and actually any looper that's got more than 2 tracks, which you can work independently. Hey, what's going on? It's JP. Welcome to the channel. If you've never been here before and you want to learn all about looping, live streaming, and all the tools you need for the modern musician, then you're in the right place. Have a look around the channel. We've got tutorial playlists on lots of different loopers, live streaming advice, and some product reviews as well. Click subscribe, hit the bell, and you'll know when the next video is out. Now, recently I've been asked a question about setting up drones. Not the flying kind, the ones you create a continuous loop which is disconnected from any kind of rhythm section. And I thought the RC-500 is a good example of this. We've got 2 tracks and we want to use them sort of independently. Now, when you get this out of the box, you've got record and play, stop, and track select. And we're not going to change that, we're going to change the way the tracks work. Now, this tutorial is specific to the 500, but it doesn't stop there. The 600, the 505 Mark II, the 10R, all these different Boss loopers will do this, but also you'd be able to do this with any looper that's got 2 tracks or more, and you can change the controls on that looper. Right, let me put this on the table. We'll set this up first of all, and then I'll give you a demo. So the setup for this example is as follows. I've got my microphone here, the Aston Stealth mic, going into the RC-500. I've got headphones on so I can hear it, and then the output of this is going to my audio interface. We're recording on Logic, completely flat, just the left and right in. Now, the way this is set up is how you get it out the box. So I know I've got these pedals on the top, and by the way, if you've got an RC-500, go and grab these pedals. They're awesome. But this is record and play, this is stop and clear, and this is track select. So as you can see with this flashing, we're now on track 1. So if I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I can stop that. And then if I press this button, we go over to track select as we normally do, and you can see that's now empty because it's blue. So I'm just going to erase that, because the first thing we need to do is decide which one is going to be the drone and which one's going to be the normal loop. Technically, the normal loop is just going to be left alone. So I'm going to use track 1 as the drone, and I need to change just 1 or 2 things. Where we need to be is clicking on track 1, the button here that says edit. So if we click on this one, you can see you've got a couple of options. So track 1, reverse, no, we don't want it reversing. We've got loop effects on, we've got one shot off, we've got level, we've got the pan, we've got start immediately. You can start it to fade in and out if you wanted to as well, and then obviously stop immediately as opposed to fade in or out. And then this is where we've got track 1 measure free. That's fine, that's what we want. We want it to be as free as possible. Of course, if you have it on a specific bar, then change it from that or change it from auto to free and make sure it is on free. The next one is where it is synced to the loops, and this is where we're going to disconnect it. So track 1 loop sync is on by default. We're going to turn that off. And then the next one is tempo sync. We're going to turn that off as well. The last 2 are just about inputs and outputs, and we're just going to leave that as it is. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to prove this by using the rhythm section. So if I use the rhythm section now, and if I press record, you can see it's got nothing to do with the rhythm section except for when I press stop. So it's doing what we want it to do, but actually there's one more thing. So if I turn that off, and I am using the rhythm section, I don't want it to turn the rhythm section off as well. So with that, we can hold down the on-off button on the rhythm section to get quickly into the rhythm section. So we'll scroll across, and then what you'll see is an option which is start, and then you'll see stop. So with start, when the loop starts, the rhythm will start. So we can set that if you want to. But the important one is the stop one. So the stop one, it will stop when the loop stops. So if you want to, of course, you can use the rhythm section, or you can actually say, well, at the end of the recording, or off. Now, if you do select off, you then need to control it independently. So maybe you'll need an FS6 or an FS7 pedal, or change one of these pedals so you can turn the rhythm on or off. Otherwise, you're going to be bending down and pressing the on-off button right here. Now I'm going to click exit and enter and write that to memory. That way it remembers that track 1 is completely disconnected. Track 2, we've not changed. So track 2, when I go to track select, we're now on track 2, it will be synced to the rhythm. Now, before we get to the demo of this, I've just got a quick message for you from, well, me. If you've been looking at the 500 or any other loop paddle or looping app and you're thinking about getting into looping, even if you're a seasoned musician, lots of musicians fail at the first hurdle because of timing. Now, you know timing for playing your instrument or singing, but when it comes to timing for a looper, whether it's a paddle, a tabletop looper, or an app, lots of artists struggle with this. I know I did at the very beginning with the separation of your hands and your feet whilst looping. That's where my course, How to Loop Like a Pro, comes in. I like to call it the beginner's journey course because it is going from the very, very beginning of looping. We even discuss what is looping and what loop paddle or looping app should you use. And in that course, I use lots of different loopers. I use the 500, I use the Donner Circle looper, I use the 600, I use even Loopy Pro. And that's actually to show you that once you actually get the technique of looping down, you can transfer that skill to any looper. How to Loop Like a Pro used to be 2 separate courses, and I used to charge $100 each for them. And now those 2 courses have smashed together to be How to Loop Like a Pro, and it's now just $48. Definitely less than the price of one of these, and you can actually learn with me for a couple of hours, learn the basics and the techniques of looping, and apply that to your own setup. There's a link in the description box if you want to go and check out the course. Right, now we've set this up, let me show you this with drone looping. So now we've got this set up the way I want. I've got the track 1 just lowered down a little bit because it's going to be our drone. We're going to go back over to track 1. And I'm going to do the best I can to create a vocal track. The thing with this, because it's completely dry and it hasn't got a haul on, you're going to hear the crossover from the beginning and the end, but that doesn't matter. This is just an example. I'd highly recommend having, certainly for drone noises, if you've got spatial sort of fluid reverbs and ping pong delays and things like that, that really helps. Anyway, I'm going to create a vocal drone on the first one, and we're just going to go... Okay, I'm just going to turn that down a little bit. You can see, tempo-wise, it's got nothing to do with this whatsoever. We go over to track 2, and I'm going to create a completely different beat. This is tied to the BPM, so... Let's turn off the drone. Let's go. Let's go back over to track 2 and undo that. Let's bring them back. That's the undo redo, by the way. Let's stop. And it's just completely separate. This works really, really well, obviously creating sort of that drone effect. The track 1 is completely separated from the BPM and the rhythm section, whereas track 2, we haven't changed, it's just connected to the BPM. If I was to play around with this, I could add the drums. As you can see, the drums went really, really slow there, so the tempo is really quite slow, so it's at 52.7, so we could speed that up. But that's how you can set up drone up on track 1. If you want to do the other way around, you just tell track 2 to be free. Now, if you're doing this for a different looper, the process is still the same. What you're doing is you're going into the specific track, and as you go across, then loop sync and tempo sync are off. So that's how to set that up on the 500. If you found the content of this video useful, give it a thumbs up. That really helps me, helps the channel grow. And then there's a playlist that's just come up, which is all the videos I've done for the RC-500 so far. If you want to be an RC-500 Jedi, go watch that.